Alright. Hi, this is Jack, and this is my biology presentation. This semester, my views of biology have been really changed. Before, I understood the basic concepts of biology, but we really dove into the details for this year, especially how ecosystems work. I think that I didn't totally understand how complex ecosystems were. I thought of them as just food chains, but I've learned that they are complex webs with so many dependencies that's just mind-boggling. Also, I really like learning about global warming, and I found that labs we did on greenhouse gases and also the coursework on peat and permafrost to be very interesting. I feel that this is the most important information that impacts me directly because global warming will really change the world, possibly destroying ecosystem or worse. Now let's dig into the units we studied. The important takeaways from Unit 1, Part 1, where we learned about ecosystems, but more importantly, food webs and energy pyramids within the ecosystems. A good example is the bison of the American prairie system. We also talked about predator-prey relationships within the ecosystem. This unit was really interesting because I got to see how fragile and interactive ecosystems are and how dependent species are on each other. Alright, here's my assignment that I chose. Food chains, food webs, and energy pyramid assignment. I selected this because it helped me understand the fundamentals of how energy flows through the different levels of food webs from the sun down to the apex predators. Alright, now on to Unit 1, Part 2. So in this, we learned about carrying capacity, trophic cascade, and keystone species. Carrying capacity is the maximum that a species can get to in population before it caps out. And trophic cascade is when you remove the keystone species, so all the other species in the ecosystem have to die out as well. This unit was really interesting because I got to understand how catastrophic changes can be and why species protection, like bison, is so important. Here's my assignment that I chose for the changing Serengeti landscape. I selected this because I selected this assignment because it was interesting to learn about the indirect and direct impact of the wildebeest, a keystone species, had on the population and had on the landscape, plants, animals, and other species. The biggest things we talked about in Unit 2, Part 1 were taiga and tundra ecosystems, specifically plants in the Arctic, peat, and permafrost. This unit was really interesting because I didn't think the cold climates would have such a complex ecosystem, and that can impact the world. We just think of evergreen trees and a lot of snow. This is not the case. These are complex ecosystems and should be protected and studied. It is also very cool to learn about how peat and permafrost trap carbon. Here's the assignment that I chose for peat versus permafrost. I selected this because it highlights how peat and permafrost are formed and how they differ from one another, what they do, and how destroying them hurts the world. The important takeaways from Unit 2, Part 2 were carbon sinks, greenhouse effects, carbon cycles, and feedback loops. Carbon sinks are places where carbon is stored. Greenhouse effects are when the sun's rays get trapped by carbon and heats up the world. Carbon cycles are how carbon cycles through the air, water, and earth. And positive feedback loops are where there's a vicious cycle where it amplifies its effect every time. This unit will be really interesting. It shows how carbon moves around the environment through the air, soil, plants, animals, and water. Here's the assignment that I chose, positive feedback loops. I selected this assignment because it helped me visualize how feedback loops work and how they interact positively and negatively with different environments, and specifically how harmful positive feedback loops can be. The best example of this is how warm temperatures release more carbon, and then more carbon makes the planet hotter due to the greenhouse effect. It's a vicious cycle. In closing, it's great to be back to semi-normal after years of COVID. I'm grateful that I'm doing well in all my classes, and I've been having fun in high school. However, if you could go back in time to the beginning of the year, I would tell myself to do whatever you can to overcome procrastination. It's not fun to try and cram stuff at the last minute. I have learned that I suck at remembering to turn in my assignments, even ones that I did. I'm sorry about that. Next semester, I will be better. My goals are to get good grades, have fun, and learn along the way. All right. Thank you.